Hello and welcome back to Redirecting. What I'm going to be doing in this video is I'm going to be talking about the question that you get to me, which is a deflective question. This is the question that always arises whenever you challenge something or you speak out against something that others perceive as something positive. The question always comes back is, what are you doing for the Black community? And so what I'd like to do for all of those who throw that question at me and others who speak out against things that need to be pointed out or talked about or what have you, I want to ask, what are you doing for the Black community? Because in light of me doing the videos where I was talking about Robert Smith and Oprah Winfrey, two Black billionaires, I spoke about them and I commended them for their good deeds, but I also pointed out some things that can adversely affect the Black community as well. I spoke about those things. And so you get the pushback from others asking, what do you or what have you done for the Black community? And so I find that very interesting that that is the pushback that our people give whenever you say anything that they perceive as negative, or if they don't agree with your opinions on people such as Oprah and Robert Smith. Now, what I find interesting is the majority of the people were actually saying about Oprah that they can't stand her. She's a witch. She's this, that, and the other. And she only did something for South Africa, which that is a lie. Before Robert Smith even came along, Oprah Winfrey donated millions of dollars to Morehouse College. Yes, she did. So she did it before he did. Okay, but the same thing I said about him, just because she did this does not mean we are supposed to overlook what she has done negatively to impact the Black community. Okay, she donated millions in scholarships. Okay, so she paid for education. Robert Smith did something a little bit different. He paid off college debt. So essentially, both of them funded education for Black students at Morehouse. Okay, so for those of you who were bashing Oprah, saying that she only did something in South Africa, a number of viewers pointed out that she indeed gave money to students at Morehouse as well. So again, does that cancel out the negative impact? No, it doesn't. Okay, so for those of you who like to ask the question, whether you're posing that question in video or in the comment section, saying that we are attacking these people, or saying that we are tearing them down, or that Black people can't get ahead because Black people, such as myself and others, always like to pick apart what other Black people are doing. That is not what is happening here. Now, what's funny is when we talk about those who are killing Black people, in whether it's people of other nations or our own people, we're okay with that. They're okay with you speaking out against those things, right? But we don't understand that there's more damaging things happening to the Black community than just killing each other or others killing us. We don't understand that we are being damaged all around, and because we are so one-sided and we only have one-track minds as it relates to things, we don't see the overall damage that other things are doing as well. So we can talk about police brutality and all these other things, and we can talk about Black on Black crime, but we don't want to talk about a genocide that is right before us, one that we are doing to ourselves, especially those of you who are bedding down with people that are not Black. If you are bedding down with a woman who is not Black or a man who is not Black, and you are a so-called Black person, then you are further contributing to the demise of our people. I don't care what you think, how you look at it. If you are not married to a so-called Black person and you are Black, then your voice shouldn't even matter as it relates to Black issues. Because you want to talk about Black issues as if you yourself are doing something to help the Black community, but you are not. When we prop up those who are wealthy and rich and all of this, and pretend like they are the role models for black people. No wonder our children are following after the same footsteps. Now, what's funny is, and this is kind of on subject, but a little off subject, I want to prove a point here. When I was looking at a video where they were talking about positive black images and positive black marriages, right? And so let me show you that our people are money hungry, money struck, fame struck, and all of that, that it has nothing to do with reality in many cases, okay? And I'm talking about our people as a whole. I'm not talking about the segment of us that live in reality, okay? But anyway, when I was looking at this thing about positive black marriages and images, guess who they put as one of those positive black marriages and images to be revered? Will Smith and Jada Pinkett. Yes, they did. They propped them up as one of those positive marriages for people to look at as an example for our young people. Look at how they're raising their children. Look at the things that they're involved in, the things that they talk about, the things that matter to them. And yet, you have someone portraying them as a positive image for black marriage for our children to look up to. And so that shows you that our priorities are whacked out. Our priorities are not in the right place because we prop up people because they have money. We say, okay, it doesn't matter that they're into this or into that or doing this or doing that or marrying this one or marrying that one or serving this strange god or doing this. It doesn't matter because they're billionaires, they're millionaires, they have a lot of money, so we can overlook everything else. And then you have black people who are usually poor or don't have anything supporting these people and attacking you for speaking the truth about these people. I'm sorry, but neither Oprah nor Robert Smith has contributed anything to the black community. And so let me go ahead and clarify what I mean by that. Oprah contributed to Morehouse, and she built a school in South Africa. So her contribution were to those who benefited from those contributions. Robert Smith, his contributions were to 400 students of Morehouse. Okay? That's where his contributions were. Someone pointed out that you have Spelman right up the road, but he didn't send any money over there. There's a lot of black young females in Spelman because he's bedding down with white women. Do you think his white woman would be okay with him funding or paying off debt for black females? I hope he catches a clue and does that to help some of our sisters out, but that is not a contribution to the black community. That is a contribution to 400 Morehouse students. We need to understand the difference, especially when, if anyone speaks out against these things, you have other black people who have not benefited from anything that Oprah or Smith have done. They come out defending these people and their lifestyles. Well, not so much Oprah. No one is defending Oprah. I didn't see probably but one person who gave a little bit of defense for her. Not really, but just a little bit. They were saying, well, she contributed to Morehouse, to millions of dollars to Morehouse. So they at least did that. But the majority of the people can't stand Oprah. But because Robert Smith is a news story and he's giving contributions this year, this is current news for our people. We just love to stay up to date on things. Okay. And because he's a man, a lot of people are applauding him and saying that we should mind our own business. Well, this has nothing to do with minding someone else's business. When I talk about these issues, I make it very clear. I have made it very clear many times that these are the things that have caused the judgment of the Most High on the children of Israel. That's why I speak about these things. And believe it or not, I've had many brothers who have contacted us and have repented and actually left the Beckys alone and married black women. My own brother is one good example of that. And so I will continue to speak these messages of truth. That is my contribution to the Black community. Truth and love. See, unlike Oprah and Robert Smith, I love my people. Now, you all equate love to the fact that they have money that they've shelled out. Now, I saw another comment where someone was thinking that maybe Robert Smith will start doing more things because of this. He'll start doing more things for just average Black people. No, he chose the demographic he wanted. He chose college students, male college students, okay, who may someday follow in his footsteps and marry themselves a Becky as well. Hopefully they won't, but they just might. Okay? And we will keep our eyes, many of us will keep our eyes on this. We know that the media always informs you of the things that they want you to see and know and hear. They feed it to you because they have an agenda as well. And like many of you pointed out, Oprah, Robert Smith, tax write-offs. Okay? Tax write-offs. Now, I'm not going to say that that was their goal in all of this. You know, if I'm being honest, I could say that they probably did want to give back to some of our people. If I'm being honest, that probably was something that they chose to do because they felt it was the right thing to do. So I'm not going to sit here and just agree that it was just a tax write-off because others have specified that or implied that or assumed that. Although they very well may get a tax write-off because of this, that doesn't mean that that was their motivation behind this. But that doesn't stop the fact or change the fact that there are other things that need to be looked at as well before we start propping people up as heroes in the Black community. That's the problem with our people. We prop people up because of financial recognition or because we believe their financial status makes them something. Sorry. None of that means anything to the Most High Yah. None of it means anything to the Most High Yah. Because the rich man lifted up his eyes in hell. Money and status will get you nowhere when you close your eyes for the last time. And so again, for those of you questioning, what have I done for the Black community? I want to throw that question right back at you. What have you done for the Black community? What have you done? Okay? And I don't mean reporting news and all of that. I'm talking about what have you done to change lives? What are you doing to impact the lives of our people? For me, I would rather supply our people with the truth of who they are, who their true history is, how to make their way back to the Father. Through the Whited Out documentary series, we have articulated to our people who they are historically, and that they are not just descendants of slaves. Through the research and the months and the years of research and the putting together of these films, we have awakened a lot of our people to the truth of who they are. So far, these documentaries have reached millions around the world. And that truth have changed a lot of hearts. Those of you who follow this channel, and you may not know about our ministry channel, some of you are religious, some of you are not. I want to plead with those of you who have completely shut off our history, especially as it relates to the Bible because of the tampering of the Bible by the white man. I want to say to you, my dear brothers and sisters, whom I love dearly, I want to say to you, please look at the Whited Out series on the Watchman Reports channel. You will see how our history has been whited out to the point where we are rejecting it. But because of this documentary series, many are opening their eyes and realizing that the wool has been pulled over our eyes, but now we are snatching and yanking and tearing it off. The truth is out there. Many of us are putting the truth out there. And we are not watering it down. We are not whiting it out. We are not sugarcoating it. And so that is my contribution as to what I have done to the Black community. For those of you who ask, I give you the truth. I remember we visited our family in Michigan a few years back. And one of my in-laws said, with tears in his eyes, he said to my husband and I that you all have brought something so very valuable to the family. You have brought us the truth. And that brought tears to my eyes to see that we are reaching people. We are reaching family members that we didn't even know were paying attention. We are reaching friends. We are reaching friends of friends, family of family. We are reaching strangers around the world with the truth. And we're not just bringing you news updates about who was killed today, who was tased today, who was called a Negro today, who was persecuted or prosecuted, or who was hurt. We hear all of that stuff every day on every channel, on the news, on the internet. We hear all of those things. But the truth is a rare commodity. Most people reject the truth. And that is what we bring you. That is what we have to offer you, the truth. Because the Bible says, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Not only do we bring you the truth, family, but we bring you our love. And I am so glad that many of you can feel that, even when we have to come hard with it. Even when we have to cry aloud and spare not. I am so glad that you are still able to see and feel the love that we have for our people. And contrary to what you brothers believe, many of you brothers believe that I hate black men. You couldn't be further from the truth. And you only say that because I speak out against black men with white women. And because many of you want to hang on to your hatred for black women. You can't stand to hear a black woman speaking out against these things. As a matter of fact, I have a message that I got from a black man that's a member of one of these camps, and I saved the message. I saved this mess. I got a message from a black man saying that he wishes to kill me. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can find that message, because he feels like I need to hush my mouth about certain things that I speak on. And so many of you brothers are misinformed. The truth is not hatred. Just because we speak the truth doesn't mean we hate you. Okay? So I'm just going to give the person's messages. I'm not going to give their names, but I have shared these messages with several people, including family members and friends. So other people know about these messages. But he says, lady, you better watch your mouth or I'm going to whack you. Listen, I'm trying to keep it together. All praise to Yahuwah. I'm getting tired of you and your mouth. You are the enemy. You talk against my people daily, and you diss IUIC and don't know the story. That's why the woman don't teach. You bring forth confusion and anarchy. We die because of a woman. Let your husband preach, sis. You got me ready to kill you, but I'm trying to change my ways. I love black people. I love my sisters, but your videos be disrespectful. Sometimes you need to repent. You are causing confusion between the nation. You keep on talking and you're going to get dealt with. Watch your effing mouth. Okay, so this is a black man saying these things to me, right? Saying these things to me because I speak the truth. Even though I've stated that some of our brothers have repented from the Becky bond, or being bound by Becky, this man seems to think that I need to shut my mouth, when that is not what the Most High has said. And so when you have someone threatening your life because you speak the truth, you know that you must continue, because we wrestle not against flesh and blood. That was a demon speaking through this man. That was a demon. And so I'm going to continue to speak the truth as long as I have blood running warm in my veins. The day that my husband married my brother and his new black wife, he officiated their wedding ceremony. That was enough reason for me right there to continue to fight the good fight of faith, because my brother was bound by the Beckys for many years. And at one time, he thought I was racist. He even told me. He said, "You are racist," because I didn't agree. And I made it very clear that I didn't agree. And I just didn't say that I disagreed. I gave him scripture. See, because at one time, I didn't feel that way. When we were Christians, and I knew some of his white girls from the past, I didn't feel that way back then. But as we came into the truth and I began to hear more about the truth and how the Most High felt about this, I began to articulate that truth to him. And so he called me racist. He said it with love because my brother loves me and I love him. But he said I was racist. But I still love you, though. And I said, I'm not racist. And I still love you, too. And so he's been delivered from the Becky bond. And he is now with a black woman. Hallelujah. And so I will continue. As a matter of fact, one time we were out and about. This was last year sometime. And in our old area, there's a brother who saw us. He was driving past on a main road. He said they almost got into an accident. He said, "That's Watchman and Deborah right there." And the brother that was driving him had to make a quick, sharp U-turn in the middle of a busy road. He says, "Watchman and Deborah, I could not drive by and not stop and come and shake y'all's hands." And the testimony that this brother gave us was so powerful. It was so powerful. He said, "Sister Deborah, I have listened to many of your videos to where you were talking about the black man and the white woman." He said, "I was one of them." And he testified that his life was miserable, about the hell that this woman put him through, but now he is free. He is delivered. We sat there and we talked about a half hour. The other guy had to drive off and eventually come back and get him because he said, "I got to get this conversation in here. I ran up on these two. I happened up on these two, so I've got to talk to them." So he and Watchman and I, we sat and we talked for a nice little minute. And so I will continue to speak the truth. And brothers, I don't speak this truth because I hate you. I say it because I love you, because I know what the judgment of the Most High looks like. I have seen it. It is what it is, whether you want to accept it or not. It is what it is. A lot of our brothers have lost their lives from dealing with Becky and continue to lose their lives. As a matter of fact, years ago, and I'm about to cut this video off, but years ago, they did statistics on brothers that were found hanging, hundreds of brothers found hanging. And they said a good high percentage, I believe it was 75% or more of these brothers that were found hanging were either dating or married to white women. And so many of you walk blindly into these situations thinking that you can just do whatever you want in the land of your captivity. And many of you say F the white man and all this other stuff. But you don't understand something. When you get to messing around with their women, if they don't like it, the Most High will allow them to be a rod of correction to you. And that is something that we have seen, not just with our men, but even our women. When you get to messing around or allowing them to dive in, or you diving into them, or whatever's taking place, when you get to doing that, that activates the judgment of Yah against you. I remember so many situations where brothers were in these relationships, and all hell broke loose in their lives. Even our women. A lot of sisters have been swirling and losing their lives being killed by these lovers. There's a young lady I grew up with years ago. I remember she contacted me years ago and she told me of her experience with a white man that blew my mind. But she said she has never had a black man do her like this white man did her. And I'm talking about something negative, not something positive. Now, she had horrible experiences with black men, okay? But she said what this white man put her through was far worse than anything a brother ever did to her. Now, let me explain. When her and her children were on the brink of being homeless, this white man took her and her children. And so she was like, wow. He took them into a suburban neighborhood and provided them with a nice home and took care of all the bills, the food and everything. She said he was a perfect gentleman. And so you're saying, well, how is that worse? Let me continue. She says all of this good treatment, and she says the next day, one day, not the next day, but one day, she said they woke up and he did a 180 on her. He was the total opposite of what he had been all these times. She said he had never been or said anything wrong to her, never treated her like anything less than a queen. But then one day he gets up and he's like a monster. And she said the words that came out of his mouth are unspeakable. Now here's her saving grace. She's a big woman, okay? She told him, if you put your so-and-so hands on me, I will kill you. And so he took her serious. He took her serious. Even though he was paying for the place, he left the place. He told her and her children had to be gone. And so she said, let us get our stuff together. We will be out of here. Okay. So apparently he said something that rattled her so bad that it scared the daylights out of her, to where she had to put this threat on him so that he can leave her the hell alone so she can move on. But when she shared the story with me, she said she had never had a brother say to her the things that this man said to her. So this is what we mean when we say the grass is not greener on the other side, whether you're a brother or a sister. Okay? And so I know I've covered a lot in this particular video, but I like to address how our people are always they got the wrong things that they support because they are all about money. Just because this man Robert and this woman Oprah have donated or given to a small segment of the black community does not mean they need to be revered, and it does not mean that others cannot speak out against the damage that they have done, and it does not mean that you need to call into question what I have done for the black community, because I can throw the same question back at you. What have you done for the black community? With that, family, I will say shalom. Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.